As a Christian, have you ever been accused just like Jesus?
What do you accuse this man of?
We would not have brought him to you if he had not committed a crime.
Then you yourselves take him and try him according to your own law.
I've been accused. Let me take you back to when I was just a 15-year-old child. Myself and two of my childhood friends just so happened to obtain, capture, and utterly ruin the life of another teenage boy. To a broken arm in 3 places, a fractured cheekbone, chipped eye socket, and a fractured skull. We really did bad to this poor young kid. Getting straight to the point, the scared mother to this poor young victim phoned the police and gave up the full names to all 3 of us, me and my 2 friends. Less than 6 hours after this offence took place, early hours of that following morning, the victim had already positively identified all 3 of us as the suspects. Not only did the victim personally know all 3 of us before this attack took place, but one of my co-defendants lived on the same street opposite the victim's house. Therefore, the police effortlessly located, caught, and arrested all 3 of us while fast asleep in the same house opposite the victim's house. What a bright bunch we were. The police simply gathered what evidence they needed, crossed the street, and arrested all 3 of us. We was what you would call completely cooked. There was absolutely no way of getting out of this one. But here's where things became rather political. You see, the family of this poor young victim didn't tell the complete truth, as they claimed the victim was thrown into Regent's Canal after this vicious attack, which, according to the CPS, completely changes the nature and severity of the offence to attempted murder. This didn't only anger me, but it also angered my 2 co-defendants, as the victim jumped into Regent's Canal. He was not thrown into the canal. And all 3 of us openly confessed this to our solicitors, the CPS, and the investigating officers, which is why the Crown Prosecution Service was willing to settle for a guilty plea of grievous bodily harm with intent, otherwise known as GBH Section 18. So all 3 of us pleaded guilty. One of my co-defendants got sentenced a year due to the time he spent on remand, whilst me and my other co-defendant got sentenced 2 years in the same prison, locked in the same cell. Fast forward 11 years, still associating with the same people and still in contact with my 2 co-defendants from over a decade before, except I was publicly baptized as a Christian on Sunday, June the 12th, 2016, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. I even reached out to the poor young victim from over a decade before to ask for forgiveness, and he forgave me. Fast forward another 2 years, I'm around the age of 30. When I receive a phone call from a dear friend explaining to me that one of my past co-defendants, who we will nickname Sniffing, as he looks like a 4'2" golem suffering with a Class A drug problem, is going around telling people that I'm a snitch, despite the fact that it was him who lived directly opposite the victim's house, despite the fact the victim knew all 3 of us personally by name, despite the fact that we served the same prison time locked in the same cell. But do you know what comes to mind in a situation like this? It isn't anger. It's the book of Psalms chapter 41 verse 9. Yea, mine own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, have lifted up his heel against me. You see, the word Satan itself is a title which directly translates to either adversary, opposer, or accuser. So how did Jesus react to those accusing him of blasphemy, written in the book of Matthew chapter 26 verses 61 through to 63? This man said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days. And the high priest stood up and said, Have you no answer to make? What is it that these men testify against you?" But Jesus remained silent. And the real reason why I myself do not respond or retaliate to such accusations is found in the book of Galatians chapter 2 verse 20. "I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me." If you're going to accuse a grown man for something you think he did as a child, then get behind me, Satan, for thou is an offense unto me. Revenge belongs to God.